can impact every car on the road, that's meaningful.
So surrounded by all of these chemicals, it gets me so excited. My chemistry background is just, popping all over the place. And you also have a chemistry background. What excites you about chemistry and how does that relate to Lubrizol?
Well, what is there not to be excited about chemistry? I mean, chemistry is in everything we do. So why Lubrizol's chemistry? We're foundational to the cars that everybody drives. The original cars would only go about 3,000 miles. Can you imagine your car only going 3,000 miles?
3,000 miles.
Because your engine pistons would seize up because they weren't lubricated. So Lubrizol's lubrication in those early Model T Fords kept the engine pistons from seizing up. And now your car can go, 300,000 miles, right? So think about the advances that we have brought to society over the last 95 years, since 1928 when we were formed. That's just on the automotive side. I look at on our advanced materials side where, we do anything from pharma medicines that make your pills smaller and easier to swallow to beauty and home creams that, you're using every single day.
I love that you leverage excitement for the curiosity of how this stuff all works to real pride that we're making things better.
Yeah.
I am curious, do you have like a specific moment in your childhood when you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to do chemistry?
I don't know if it was like an aha moment, but I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. My grandparents lived a quarter of a mile away on the farm where we grew up. I tell a story a lot of times that I learned engineering on the farm at an early age because I learned chemical engineering as we were mixing the pesticides and fertilizers for the garden, electrical engineering, wiring the fences to keep the animals in, mechanical engineering, fixing all the broken equipment that we had on the farm because we always had used equipment that we had to keep fixing, civil engineering, plowing the fields. We had to lay out the fields and plow the rows straight, and biomedical engineering, taking care of the animals. So I was a very practical engineer at a very young age.
You've been here about a year, right? Mm-hmm. Your leadership journey. What have been those defining moments that have, really placed in your mind how to lead a company like Lubrizol?
Probably the first thing is being confident in myself and realizing that, I had a good skill, I have a good style, that I am inspirational and that people will follow me and being confident in that. Sometimes that's hard for certain people. I came from a small town in eastern Kentucky. I don't know if there's any other CEOs that have come from that town of 5,000. And so for me, that was a journey I had to get over.
That confidence you talked about earlier, when did that click into place for you? Like, was there an aha moment or you're just like, oh no, I get this now? I mean...
I don't know. I guess it was just a bit over time. I got great advice from a CEO who said, sometimes when you get nervous, Rebecca, remember that nobody knows your business better than you know your business. But you always have that doubt in your mind. Maybe am I going to say something wrong or is somebody going to catch me up on something? And then I also had to realize that nobody's perfect. If you say something wrong or get a stat wrong, just say, hey, look, I missed that one and move on, right? Nobody's perfect.
Failure, mistakes, that has to be part of an innovation culture.
The best thing we can do is take every mistake as a great learning because, you've already paid the bill, right? You pay the bill for the mistake. It's probably going to cost you something, whether, you've cost you capital, it cost you lost business, it cost you extra freight and logistics, whatever it cost you, it's costing you something. So you've paid the bill, you should get the learning from it. And that's the way we run it. So the best thing you can do is say, I've spent that money, I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to move on.
So let's talk about your leadership as it relates to your employees. How do you think about your interactions day to day and your role vis-a-vis all of these people in the company?
People make it happen. People innovate. People run our plants. People sell our products. People ship our products. They collect the money. If we don't have people, we're not going to make anything happen. So keeping our people safe is our right to operate. And, I think you can't be a chemical company and have people get hurt in really bad ways too many times and stay in business. So it has to be foundational for us. People are our foundation. People need to know what's expected of them from the leader, right? If I am not predictable, how can the organization be predictable? So we run a very structured calendar of a set of meetings once a month where we talk about business performance. Fundamentally, my leadership philosophy is inputs drive outputs. You can't change the output if you don't change the input. Outputs are like looking in the rearview mirror and, or being a Monday morning quarterback for those folks in the U.S. that follow football. We're really about what are those leading indicators? What are those things going to change the inputs, change the outputs? And as an example, our biggest input is demand planning. Understanding what our customers need from a demand perspective. If we don't understand that, we're not going to buy the right raw materials. We're not going to have the right production available. We're not going to have the right inventory in the right spot. We're not going to ship things to the right locations. So, understanding those big demand plans are really critical. Another big input is our new product innovation process, right? If we're not innovating those next molecules, we're not going to win those next programs.
In 10 years, what do you think are going to be the most exciting things, either Lubrizol or just your field in general, are going to invent or come up with, or problems they're going to solve?
I think, the problems that we have to solve are around sustainability. A lot of the sustainable products, like cellulosic-based products and the like, they don't, dissolve well. They don't suspend well. You ever tried to dissolve tea in water, right? It's not easy to do, right? And so if you think about that, you need things that are going to help dissolve those types of biologically based products into the solutions we want to put them in. And those are the type of products that Lubrizol makes, right? Surfactant type products, hyperdispersants, rheology modifiers. All of these things will enable these more biologically based products to be used in everyday life. And so we're excited, really, really excited about that.
What drives a push for you for sustainable products?
Well, sustainability's been in Lubrizol's core since the very beginning, 1928. So we are very focused on how we reduce our sustainability footprint. So have our plants run more efficient, have them use less energy, have them emit less carbon. But we're even more focused on how our solutions enhance the sustainability for the globe. If we can impact every car on the road, that's meaningful. If we can impact every a bit of water that flows, into people's houses, that's meaningful.